The Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor and Nikki's final split. Marriage fails over Jack? That Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, could be gearing up for their final split. So will their marriage fail over Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman? Nikki puts up with a lot when it comes to Victor, who always thinks he knows best when it comes to controlling his family. Victor and Nikki have already been at odds lately over his fixation on tearing Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, apart. Of course, Victor also wasn't happy about Nikki nearly sacrificing Chancellor for Nick Newmans, Joshua Morrow, freedom in Nice. The fact that Nikki almost surrendered the company to Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, was a huge deal to Victor. Although Victor ultimately didn't blame Nikki for risking Chancellor to save one of their kids, he obviously thought Nikki was being impulsive and not playing it smart. However, it's another familiar issue that could really wreak havoc in Nikki and Victor's marriage in the coming weeks on Y&R. Now that Victor wants to establish an alliance with Kane and help him take over Jabot, Nikki definitely isn't on board with going after Jack. Jack may be Victor's #1 enemy, but he's a close friend of Nikki's and someone she's always going to look out for. Since Jack got Nikki into rehab and may have saved her life in the process, she'll be forever grateful for that. Unfortunately, Victor doesn't have the same view at all and still holds a grudge over the extremes Jack went to that night with Nikki. Jack and Victor have a long history as bitter rivals that Victor isn't going to forget anytime soon. That's why Victor has no qualms about targeting Jack's family company. In fact, Victor considers it a bonus on top of distracting Kane from Chancellor and Newman Enterprises. Since Victor made it clear they'd have a problem if Nikki pushed back on this, they're indeed going to have a problem. There's no chance Nikki will just stand by and let Jack lose Jabot without doing something about it. Nikki could make quite a mess of Victor's plans by warning Jack about things along the way. If Nikki manages to sabotage Victor's goals for Jack's sake, it could be enough to destroy their marriage. On the flip side, Victor may make some dirty moves that Nikki can't stop and infuriate her in the process. Nikki and Victor could be headed for a divorce if this pushes them to their breaking point. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some betrayals are brewing on both sides, so stay tuned for news ahead for Victor and Nikki's relationship.